TikTok compilation that might wake you up and change your reality. Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
These bears twerking moves are on point.
Russia? Right now, they're
Russia?
working on human ape creatures that will fight their wars for them.
Oh my god.
What it is actually a species of ape that are intelligent.
Yeah.
Intelligent enough to listen and do orders and literally fight battles. As foot soldiers, right? They're not gonna be human, like half humans, but they're gonna be genetically modified so that their brain capacity can take in more information. They can communicate, they can speak Russian.
My goodness.
And
No
they can do all
way.
of these things. What happened in history was the people that weren't intelligent enough were the ones that were tricked into fighting for them. As sad as that is, but if they're able to make this humanoid ape creature, make them the soldiers, what if one day they just fight back?
I'm switching teams. This is not fair. I'm not trying to be a picnic for Caesar.
And in the private airport, I put my backpack with all my jewelry on there. And so the lady said, I'm sorry, jewelry's too much. I think she was trying to say if it's over 25K, you got to declare it or something like that. So I was like, man, f*** all that shit. And got back on my plane. Nigga walked back on the plane like, yo, quote unquote, His Excellency. He was highly upset. 25K is your jewelry. I bring you gift over 25K. There was a Frank Mueller watch, definitely over 25. Oh, I forget. Lamborghini or Ferrari? I thought it was a general question. Oh, Lamborghini. What color? Oh, you talking about me one? I said black. In front of your house in 3 weeks. I am very sorry for this. I got that bit like 2-3 days ago.
Wow. I don't think people understand how much money just the Saudi prince alone makes.
Am I dreaming? No, I'm living in my dream.
That is in Bali, folks. This is Hindu god Vishnu with his right called Garuda, which is the bird. Let me know what you think about this. No AI, everybody. Still in Bali. I know, right? Paradise exists. By the way, the restaurant, the food is cheap and delicious. The view is incredible.
Hear about all the stuff happening in France. The Olympics are coming to Paris, you know?
Okay.
And everyone in Paris is super ticked off about it. The president and the mayor of Paris, they're like, what's the river that runs through Paris?
The Seine.
It's really polluted and stuff.
Yeah.
President Macron and the mayor are like, we're going to spend like $5 million cleaning the river before the Olympics. Like, well, that's our tax money. And you've never even considered cleaning the river until the Olympics come. Before the Olympics, President Macron and the mayor are going to go swim in the river. They're like, we're going to get it so clean that we'll swim in the river. There's this hashtag going around that's like, we are going to poop in the Seine River. Because they said a week or so ago, they literally set up porcelain toilets all along the river, and someone made an app. So if you don't live in Paris, all the rivers that connect, they say, if you poop in this part of the river at this time, it will make its way to this part of the river where they're going to swim at this time.
Dude,
Yeah.
that is amazing.
Yeah.
That's the funniest thing.
We are not too far from apes.
Yeah.
So full of I can smell it.
Some bank balance with my name on somewhere that has billions in.
You're now the youngest billionaire in the UK.
On paper.
Okay, yeah.
None of it's real.
But just for a bit of context, the average billionaire, according to Forbes, is 65 years old. And there's only 15 around the world who are age 30 and under. 11 of them have inherited their wealth. 4 of them are self-made, and you're one of them. How does that feel?
I never think about it. I don't see it as a measure of success, and I think it's all on paper. I think people assume that there's some bank balance with my name on somewhere that has billions in, which is just completely untrue. But I don't want to put it down on it. I'm super proud of what we've achieved and what I've achieved. No individual should ever pin their self-worth on things like wealth, net worth. I see that as a wildly unproductive way to live. I just want to focus on my job because I don't do it for that. I do it because I work with great people. I'm working on a cause that I genuinely care about and am passionate about.
Good mindset. If ain't in my bank, you ain't real. What a headstrong, balanced, and focused young man.
I came across this, and she's going viral right now because of the very large BP tattoo on the side of her face. Now, here's what I want to say about this. If you're getting this type of tattoo, because this is a very bold move, one or two things are happening in your life. Number one, you're independently wealthy. You don't need anybody. You got plenty of money. You got FU money. You're never going to need a job. You're never going to need to be gainfully employed or work with the public ever again. You got that FU money. Number two, you work at a place or work in an industry where facial tattoos this size are not only praised, but they're damn near required. Because this is a large B and a P on the side of her face. Now, the comments are going crazy on this video. This is the content creator if you want to see it, but the comments are going crazy. People are saying she missed the O in the middle of the B and the P. This is wow, man, because these tattoos are just on another level now. I hope she doesn't need a job.
I will never understand the face tattoos. And what does the BP stand for? Maybe she own a gas station.
Nothing in the world that turns off everything. Really? And I mean, like, the pain that I feel right now is, I mean, like, even drinking. When you drink alcohol, it feels like it numbs it, but it just makes it worse, right? Fentanyl, it just turns everything off, and it makes everything go away. It makes everything go away to such an extent that you lose everything. And to illustrate how simultaneous the emotional off is as you're losing everything, you don't care. It's gone. And it doesn't matter because nothing hurts anymore.
And what have you lost?
My home, my husband, my kids, my life. I've overdosed 3 times.
She speaks so eloquently. I can tell she's intelligent. She needs love so bad. The true love. Jesus Christ.
Used to have vibe. Now they don't. Cars used to have vibe. Now they don't. Houses used to have vibe. Now they don't. But good design is about creating a feeling. Today, things are engineered so that you feel nothing. So what's the feeling that you want to feel in your space? Lean into that. Hope this is helpful. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bring back color. I'm tired of everything neutral.
Biggest loss I ever had at one time was $8 million.
So, but how do you lose if you're so good at it?
Because they cheat. There's so many layers to it.
But $8 million cheat is crazy.
Do you know how hard it is to lose $8 million?
It sounds tremendously difficult.
You probably couldn't lose $8 million playing Baccarat if you tried.
So how did you do it?
They set me up for failure, absolutely. Roughly the first, I want to say $3 million I lost. I was distraught. I was pissed. I was like, I'm mad that I'm losing. Then I lost another, I don't know what, another 3 million, just confused, right? I enter the twilight zone, right? I'm like, I don't understand. How do I lose 100% of the hands? No matter what I do, it doesn't work. This can't be correct. At this point, I'm down, I think 7 million, roughly, right? And I play a little bit more. And this time I knew that I was being cheated. And I go, you know what? I'm gonna spend the last million, couple million, whatever it is, trying to figure out, I know I'm gonna lose it, I'm gonna try to figure out what it is they're doing. And I sat there and I lost another million or 2 million or something like that, just trying to understand what is happening that I'm not privy to make me lose this many hands in a row, which is just ungodly. It's not possible. And I figured it out. I bought it for 1 million more, and then I won 9 million in 45 minutes.
Oh my,
That's not even close to my biggest win.
What's your biggest win?
My biggest single session win is $11,526,000.
On what game?
Baccarat.
Is there any proof of this guy actually making that much? And does he ever say what they were doing?
Was trapped in this storm drain in Brazil, and when the fire department arrived to pry it open, they found a very polite capybara patiently waiting for assistance. Nobody knows how this large rodent found himself in such a pickle, but luckily a passerby had noticed him barking and called for help. It did take a bit of work to get the storm drain cover removed, and once it was off, the capybara really didn't want to bother anyone further, but he did end up needing a little bit of help from the firefighters to get out. Luckily, he was in good health and he was able to return to his habitat with all of his friends. Although it is uncommon for capybaras to find themselves in storm drains, they are very common above ground in the area. And while some are more shy, they're known in general for making friends with just about any animal. Because capybaras are herbivores, they don't have any natural instinct to harm another animal, and they'll generally accept anyone into their circle as long as they don't feel threatened, like this orange cappy cat who lives with a herd of capybaras at Zoo Negara in Malaysia. They're also quite smart, and those that live in more populated areas have even been observed using crosswalks to cross roads. I'm Jen, and I post something positive every day.
This is the greatest unsolved mystery in the FBI's history. On November 24th, 1971, Dan Cooper was riding in the back of a plane. He called a stewardess over and showed her a briefcase containing a bomb. His demands were very simple. He wanted $200,000 and 4 parachutes. After landing in Seattle, Cooper exchanged the 36 passengers for the money and parachutes with the authorities. He then ordered the pilots to fly to Reno, Nevada during this flight. Cooper told the crew to go into the cockpit, and then he locked the cockpit door from outside. After they landed in Reno, Cooper and the bomb were nowhere to be found, and the stairway was left extended. Because at some point between Seattle and Reno, Dan Cooper jumped from the plane into the dark of night, taking the $200,000 and parachute with him. Over the years, many researches were conducted to find Dan Cooper and where he landed, but the case of Dan Cooper remains unsolved till date.
We already know DB Cooper is Charles Westmoreland. They already solved it in Prison Break.
Finance a vehicle, you're going to have to hold on to that car or you could sell it. What people need to do is when they go to the dealership, they don't need to go say, hey, I'm turning the lease in early, because they're going to be like, okay, well, you owe us money. You just say, hey, I'm selling the car to you guys. And I didn't know that. I actually made $5,000 on selling my Honda at the time to CarMax. Wow. I leased it and they're like, yeah, we're going to buy the rights and we're going to buy the car from you and we'll give you this. And I was like, yo, because if I had turned that car in, I would have had to pay $4,000 because it was over mileage.
That's a good hack right there. Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I used to lease cars and I always worried about the mileage. I was like, I gotta stay under because I didn't know how much they were going to charge.
Is that right? Let me know what you think in the comment.
Next time you feel left out, your friends all go out to brunch together and they don't invite you. Let them. Or maybe the person you're dating doesn't want a commitment. Let them. Or perhaps your spouse does not want to do the 5K with you. Let them. Your company is laying people off. Let them. You spend so much time and energy trying to control other people and getting emotionally worked up about things that are beyond your control. You can tap into peace and true control if you let them be themselves. And here's the other thing. If you let them, people will then reveal who they truly are. And when they reveal who they truly are to you, you now know what you can choose next that's right for you. So let them.
I have been practicing Let Them, and it has changed my world. Thank you.
She was on live.
Yeah.
And she said that a skinwalker pretended to be her dog. This lady's on live with around 500 people. And she's saying, oh, this is not my dog. This is not my dog. And I'll prove it.
I'll know if she's my dog. Marlene, sit. Turn around. Turn around. Lay down.
She says on her live, she's like, everyone, this is not my dog. You know why? Because my dog is new. He doesn't know any of these tricks.
You're not my dog. My dog don't know how to do no trick.
She locks herself in the room, waits like an hour or so, right? Unlocks the door. The dog goes into the closet, right? And then she grabs her flashlight, puts the flashlight on. You can see a face. So the skinwalker transformed from the dog to an actual face. I'll show you.
911, what's your emergency? My dog's a skinwalker. Click.
The person that booked my Airbnb for a full week a couple months ago wasn't actually a guest. They were running their cleaning business out of my property for those 4 days. So what took me a while to figure out was what this guest was really doing, because when they booked, they were in the local area, which is always a red flag, and they booked for a full week. I was assuming that they were coming to stay to either build something nearby, stay something closer, family, whatever. But I later found out they were running a professional cleaning business out of it. Basically, they owned some sort of laundromat that does your dry cleaning and perms and presses all your clothes. Basically, you can drop off your 2 weeks worth of clothes. They'll wash it and fold it and deliver it back to your house. Now, this property is a little bit bigger. It is more expensive, but it has 2 massive washers and dryers. And the 2 main ways I found it out is they used over 15,000 gallons of water in 1 week. And when I looked up the name on the reservation a couple weeks later, I figured out that they actually own a washing business in town. And when I clicked on their website, one of the reviews said, unfortunately, they were closed a couple weeks back, so they couldn't get their stuff cleaned. No real harm to me or the property, but my water bill was extremely expensive, and man, oh man, did those machines get their wear and tear.
So someone showed up and used their amenities they paid for. Let me know how you feel about this.
3, 2, 1. Hello, I am David Nussbaum, the founder of Proto Hologram. Proto is a holographic spatial computing device company that allows for the real-time communication from anybody to anybody else in real time, whether they can physically be there or not. Proto technology also has an AI component to it that allows for translation of any language. Hundreds of languages are in our system. You can speak any language to anyone at any time, and it can be unlimited. So teachers are beaming into schools right now. Teachers are giving lectures on stages and in classrooms around the world. In some places, there are such rural locations that students are struggling to learn. And so what we've done is we've given the best minds from around the world, the greatest teachers and educators and professors, we've given them the near supernatural ability to be in their homes or in their offices in major cities and then beam into the most remote and rural locations where children are struggling to learn and educating them remotely. This is better than a Zoom. This is better than a TV or any other flat digital display because it looks like you're actually there. And when somebody appears like they're there, the engagement level, the interactivity, the emotional and physical response and connection exists. And when a person is physically in the room with you, rather than just shoulders up on a flat two-dimensional motionless display, there's a level of trust and honesty that comes along with that. So instead of students sitting back in their chairs and just watching something on a movie screen, they're sitting on the edges of their seats, really, really engaged with the content that's happening before them. And that's just education. Think about retail locations, think about hospitals, healthcare, hospitality. Right now, we just announced, and we've already started installing Proto hologram technology in a bunch of hotels, including the Four Seasons. So we can beam concierge service live and AI versions of concierge into some of the guest suites and presidential suites. So holograms are here. This is the technology that's bringing it into the world. And I ask that you follow this account and start looking at some of our other videos. I've recently posted videos about artificial intelligence, multilingual artificial intelligence, and there's videos of Howie Mandel speaking Japanese, for example. And then there's also videos showing live holoportation. Live holoportation, something that you really were only able to see in television shows like Black Mirror and Star Trek, are now actually being done in real life by Proto. The shadows are real, the reflections are real, it looks like I'm physically standing inside of this device. Anyway, this has been great. I'm gonna come right back. More to come.
All right. Live holoportation.
Give this to the state representatives and see how much in cost they'll cut just from travel alone.
Do you know that buffaloes and cows can both sense when storms are coming? Cows, for example, sense that a storm is coming and they start running in the opposite direction of the storm. Buffalo do the exact opposite. They sense that very same storm coming and they run directly into the direction of the storm. Now, when the cow runs away from the storm, what ends up happening is it's running along with the storm and ends up staying in that storm far longer than it ever needed to. Whereas versus the buffalo running directly into the storm. At first, it's very difficult, very loud, very scary, but in a very short period of time, they're through the storm. I've been both the cow and the buffalo, and I learned that all it did was prolong my suffering. I very quickly became the buffalo, and the first time it was one of the most difficult things I'd ever done. But once I did it and realized that you get through it so much quicker, and on the other end is a bright season of your life, then when adversity arises, you sprint towards the opportunity to face things that at one time you feared ever facing.
In my experience, cows always sit down instead of run away to keep their spot dry, so they don't end up sitting on wet grass.
So check this out. This is actually a generator. This is a generator. It's a solar powered generator. So get this, you can plug it in and charge it, or it will actually charge as it sits outside. So it's a 100-watt battery generator. But get this, you can literally charge a refrigerator or keep a refrigerator plugged into this for 7 hours. You can hook up to Wi-Fi, lights. It will literally, on a full charge, it will charge 7 laptop computers.
What?
So stuff like this is really cool and handy to have. I know it's one of those things where you don't really want to spend the money, but if you're ever doing any kind of recreation stuff, it's getting hot, starting to get warm, springtime, start doing any kind of ball games. It's got a 110 outlet so you can plug in fans. I love the battery operated fans. Those are really cool, really handy. You can plug in fans, plug in radio. You can absolutely plug in anything, but it's a really cool product that I highly recommend anybody
That's
having.
awesome.
If you have kids camping, doing anything like that outdoors, definitely want to take a look at this.
This is what your poop should look like. A white poop means there is a lack of bile. A black poop could be caused by having something like activated charcoal or beet juice, but it could also mean that you have bleeding in the upper GI tract, which could be Crohn's disease. If somebody has super dry, pebbly poops, then they're probably constipated. And this is caused by the kidney collecting tubules being active, and their body is holding on to water, and they might also have just recently gained a lot of weight, or they have weight issues. A normal poop that has streaks of blood, this could be caused by anal fissures or hemorrhoids or a perianal fistula opening, and it's just kind of scraping by. Or it could be proctitis or some sort of ulcerative colitis. Temporary diarrhea could be caused by food poisoning, but if somebody's been having diarrhea, more than 5 times a day for a long time, then they either have Crohn's or colitis or some sort of an IBS. If somebody's pooping straight blood, then they probably have ulcerative colitis. But if the more fresh that blood is, the closer it is to the exit, the more dark the blood is, the higher up the GI tract it is. If somebody has green, yellowy, foamy, super stinky diarrhea, this is what I had. This is actually caused by the gallbladder pancreas constantly going in and out of overdrive. And essentially what's happening is the bile gets dumped into your digestive system. It's super alkaline and irritating. Your intestines just push it out as fast as possible. And it's also going to kind of burn when it comes out too. I used to have really bad Crohn's and colitis, and I help people fix it with my 13-day protocol. Essentially what's happening is a traumatic event put one of our organs into overdrive, and every time this conflict gets reactivated or we encounter PTSD triggers from this conflict, it puts that organ into overdrive, it beats up our gut, and it gives us symptoms. So the way to fix these things is to find the conflict and find its PTSD triggers, and a lot of the times that will cut somebody's symptoms in half. But I have a free webinar that's essentially a mini version of my 13-day protocol. This was common knowledge before the 1970s that gut disease was caused by traumatic events.
If you don't know, now you know. Oh, yeah, eat dragon fruit at night, and in the morning, you poop like a champ.
At work, and the man told me take this trash off my neck. He said, man, Jesus Christ is not real. Take that off. You must be ignorant or something. So we started talking and conversating. Then he go on and tell me, man, I was a believer for 25 years. For 25 years, I was a Christian. So I said, wow, what happened? He go on to say, I started getting to a point where if it didn't make sense to me, if 1 + 1 wasn't equaling 2, since I couldn't prove with my own hands on how Christ got here, how did a virgin woman get pregnant with a baby, how all this stuff happened, if I couldn't prove it myself, then it wasn't real. I said, I see what happened. You lost your faith. He said, yeah, man, I don't believe in it no more. So we started talking, and I ended with this, y'all. I said, well, listen, let's just say that everything you saying is right. The worst that's gonna happen to me is I would die, and when I die, I will go on to be a star or get reincarnated to be a tree or wherever my body go. I'll be a spirit, animal, whatever supposed to happen to me. Since heaven and hell is not real, when I pass away, I'm just gonna go wherever I'm supposed to be at, wherever that's supposed to be. He said, exactly, man, you got it, you right, you got it now, see, you understand. I said, okay, you're making sense. But I said, but what if I'm right?
Yeah.
What if everything I'm saying and what you used to believe in is right? Your punishment would be an eternity being separated from God. And I sat there, and there was a silence between me and him for about 6 seconds as we looked at each other. I say all that to say this. After that conversation, I prayed to God and said, God, listen, help my heart to be more sensitive to those who need you. I understand everybody's not going to believe. I understand that this faith walk is not for everybody. There are some people who believe what they believe in, and that's how they was raised. That's a belief system. But for us who believe, I pray that we all can get a heart to want to save those who either want to be saved and don't know what way to go, or those who are looking to be saved, and we be the ones to help them.
Yeah.
I pray that we don't get so caught up in our own problems that we miss those who are looking for the answer. Because the time is going to come where all this shopping and getting lashes and trying to, guys want to have a new drip and the fancy new car and trying to keep up with the times and traveling. It's going to be a time that comes where none of that stuff going to matter. It's going to be heaven or hell, and that's it. And I'm not saying that to scare. I'm just saying, that's what we're going to. It's two places. And right now, sometimes we can get caught up in so much in life and we miss that, all this stuff gonna perish one day. And they left me saying, wow. After that conversation, I just said, wow. So help me, God, to be different and help those who need help.
I say this, if I'm wrong, I only lost my breath. But if you're wrong, you lost your soul.
Proves that the moon landing video is completely fake. In the middle of the desert in the United States, he found the spot where this moon landing scene was filmed. It's quite compelling and shocking. You should know that a Google artificial intelligence was presented in Russia. This AI can determine if a video is fake or not, and it can do this for any video. During the presentation at the Kremlin in front of Vladimir Putin, he chose the moon landing video to see if it was fake or real. This AI declared that the NASA moon landing video was completely fake. NASA admitted that it was a fake video because they supposedly lost the original, according to their tweet. Elon Musk said, I understand better why we haven't gone back, because even today we would have trouble doing it given our technological capabilities, which is pretty crazy. Subscribe for more quality videos.
BlackRock, whose CEO is none other than Larry Fink, and Citadel Securities, whose CEO is none other than Ken Griffin. You know, the same Ken Griffin that in 2019 splashed out a staggering $238 million for a New York City penthouse, the most anyone in the country has ever paid for a piece of residential property, and now in Palm Beach, Florida, is in the midst of building what's expected to become the priciest home on the planet, are backing a new stock exchange that's appearing in Texas, that's taking aim at the NYSE and NASDAQ. As you can see, the Texas Stock Exchange, based in Dallas, has the backing of BlackRock and Citadel Securities. As you can see, the Texas Stock Exchange, or TXSC, has raised roughly $120 million from more than 24 investors. That might not seem like a lot, but wait. But here's the thing, right? Including BlackRock and Citadel Securities, like I mentioned, as well as some unnamed business leaders. That's pretty interesting. Do you know why? Well, Mr. Tim Buckley, you know, the chairman and CEO of the Vanguard Group, is stepping down at the end of 2024. Vanguard, that's pretty interesting. This wouldn't have anything to do with the banks reporting $517 billion in losses, would it? Do you know what would happen to the US economy if the stock exchange in itself were to collapse? Because boy, let me tell you, crypto would be booming. And how ironic that with BlackRock's Bitcoin ETFs, the spot ETFs have added $2.4 billion in assets over the past month, and expecting Bitcoin to rise tremendously. If it just so happens to go over $100,000 like it's expected to, I'm sure it'll still be obtainable, right? Are you starting to put two and two together now? No? Well, this is Mr. Ken Griffin's top 3 stocks that he's been investing in as of recently. First off, we got Hess, ranked as Citadel's 3rd largest holding at the end of the first quarter. This lofty ranking was due to Griffin's aggressive buying in the oil stock. How interesting. Did you know that the petrodollar agreement is coming to an end very soon? And Saudi Arabia just so happens to be heavily associated with OPEC+. You know, the same OPEC Plus whose main member is Russia? And Russia is claiming that it's discovered a region in Antarctica as to where they can accumulate up to 500 billion barrels of oil. Oh, now things are getting really interesting, right? Well, one of Ken Griffin and Citadel's other top holdings just so happen to be Amazon. You know, the same exact Amazon that's planning to release their palm scanning technology?
Wow.
Digital, you say? Do people still not believe in digital currency arising? You know, it's interesting that Ken just so happens to be investing in Amazon. Do you know why? Well, back in 2022, Amazon aspired to create the first What Island hub on Naxos, Greece. A What Island project, a bundle of 17 different actions all related to modern digital technology. I'm sure it's just a coincidence, right? If I can give you one recommendation, it would be to invest in crypto immediately. And I know that sounds far-fetched, but if you're smart, you would get up to date with the tech industry. I cannot tell you right now about what's on the way due to violations on my profile at the moment, but I will try my best to in the near future. Because things like this need to have awareness brought to them. And people really assume that their realities can't be altered in a moment's notice. You might really want to get in touch with reality. You might want to break away from that 9 to 5 and start making independent money. Because I'm sure at this point in the video, if you're even still with me, you already know what's on the way.
I've been buying XRP since last year. I set aside 5% of what I make every month and buy XRP. But always do your own research, folks.
Lord just revealed to me is that we are almost like in a time of preparation, a time of grace to get ready for what is coming. How God is going to provide for his people amidst economical difficulties and financial uncertainties. How the world might be going in one direction, but God will still look after his people in this time. And then the Lord started speaking to me about gathering up for the difficult times ahead, gathering up, storing up, getting rid of debt, not making unnecessary purchases.
I have heard these words for a number of years now. What would you say to the person that says, well, I've heard that and nothing's happened?
I believe that the Lord, before he does anything, he starts communicating it to his prophetic vessels. And it would be wise to take heed of these words, that when it does happen, that we cannot say that God never warned us about this, that God never spoke.
I have faith that God will provide, just like he did for Moses and the tribes of Israel.
You're getting sick over and over again? Try this. Next time you pray, ask Holy Spirit who to pray for, and then forgive them, and forgive everyone that you know and everyone that you can think of, and repent for holding unforgiveness. And just completely go into this. I pray that my enemies would be blessed. I pray that they would be forgiven, and I completely release anything. You are my provider, not them. And then watch who starts getting sick around you.
I feel like you've seen this happen before.
100%. I'm not going to share details because we're still in proximity and relationship with these people. But yeah, we kept having these things happen that didn't make any sense. Something would break on the house. Then another thing would break. Then Lindsay would get sick. Then Kate would get sick. Then everything would be good. Then I would get sick. It's like, it's usually spiritual if it's just one thing after the next, after the next, after the next, after the next. And you're like, cool, well, there's just a chain of bad luck, you know? And then, yeah, well, somebody close to us just got like really, really sick, like almost died, and he didn't die. So
And that was the person you forgave.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. It's not easy, but that's how you really let go.
To my biggest failure. I had a company called Sheets. Sheets were oral dissolvable strips, like a Listerine strip, that you put on your tongue, and they gave you a boost of caffeine. But at that time that we went into this, 5-Hour Energy had proven that you could take a 2.5-ounce bottle of an energy drink. They were selling 10 million bottles a week of 5-Hour Energy. I'm like, I'm gonna clean that clock, man. So I hired an operator, and I brought in LeBron James. The first week of sales go through the roof. LeBron's running an ad, national TV advertising. Week 2, through the roof sales. I doubled down on the national advertising. Week 3, I said to Sarah, we're buying a house in the Dominican Republic. Like, this is the craziest thing ever. And week 4, at the end of the day, the product wasn't great. You can have the best ideas, you can have the best celebrities, but at the end of the day, your product has to be great. And the mistake that we made was we used the shelves of the stores as our research and development department. If you're starting out in business, start small, think big, and then scale fast when you have proof of concept.
Oh. Who's yelling? Oh, right there. I'm convinced that the Vatican City is full of demons.
Something that local governments really don't want you to know. When you apply for a permit on your property, build a fence, install a septic tank, add a guest house, you are not asking them for permission to do the thing. What you are really signing over is you are giving them permission to come and inspect you anytime they please without a warrant. And this is why they're so crazy about you having a permit for everything. It's so when they feel the need to inspect you, all they have to do is come over and violate your rights and show you that you are the one that signed over permission to them to do that. No warrant required. So remember this when they tell you you need a permit for this, permit for that. They're not telling you that you need their permission to do the thing. They're asking you for permission to violate your rights, because evil cannot enter your home without an invitation.
This is why I love in a country that doesn't require permits. They respect private property rights, including mine, as long as it's legal.
Heard of the Acambora artifact. So these artifacts were discovered in Mexico in 1994. They consisted of 33,000 artifacts found. The artifacts were so strange, and I've never heard of them, probably because the story's trying to get swamped over by the Smithsonian. They consisted of stone and clay, like figurines and stuff, of like dinosaurs.
Oh.
There was one figurine of a warrior riding a triceratops. And then they had other figurines of like mermaids, human-animal hybrids. They even had one that looked like Bigfoot. But like the whole totally messes with the whole narrative that humans interacted with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Because there's a man
riding
a dinosaur.
The timeline is scrambled.
It was authenticated by 3 men in the profession that were like, they knew what they were looking at and what they were talking about. The Smithsonian was like funding it. Like, nope, this is all, it's a fraud. None of these are real. We're going to carbon date ourselves. And they did. And they're like, these are only 30 years old. Everyone's like, what? So then this journalist, John Tierney, he filed a Freedom of Information request for the Acambora files that Smithsonian had. And the Smithsonian's like, we don't know where they are. And he's like, well, can I go look at the artifacts? And they said, no, it's placed in storage and it's not able to be viewed by the public.
I knew the 007 dealt with intelligence plus James Bond. I talked to you, and you're like, you got something to write on. Write down this. And I was like, okay, Yahoo. Write down this. It was Google. It was Facebook, Yahoo, Google, what have you. And it was the 00. Yep. And I'd been hearing things about, you know, the government creating social media, all that Mark Zuckerberg shit.
You got Zoom now, too. The Chinese got into it.
And so I'm like, this shit is more than meets the eye right here, you know?
Why do they not put the 13th floor in any building?
That has to do with people believing in Friday the 13th. On October the 13th, 1307, all the kings plotted against the Knights Templars. The Knights Templars were extremely powerful. So all the kings and queens got together like, yo, these people are getting a little bit too powerful. So on October 13th, all the kings send their armies to kill all the Knights Templars, and the ones who escaped became the modern day Freemasons.
So I knew the 007 dealt with intelligence plus James Bond. I talked to you, and you're like, you got something to write on. Write down this. And I was like, okay, Yahoo. Write down this. It was Google. It was Facebook, Yahoo, Google, what have you. And it was the
This is Mickey Mace, the most notorious gambler in the world. He's run up over $30 million playing Baccarat, which has gotten him banned from nearly every casino in Las Vegas. You may have seen his interviews on No Jumper, Soft White Underbelly, or pretty much anywhere on TikTok. And he also happens to be friends with Sean Perry.
Listen, there's 2 buildings in the city I'm allowed in, and this is one of them, but he's banned from this book, so it's the only way that we can like get together in a casino is to do this.
He has to place your bets at here, and you have to place his bets elsewhere?
Yeah,
exactly.
I know it's real. The thing is, when you use words like lock of the day, it's the ultimate scammer word, and I'm trying so hard to get you to stop saying that. I told him that I put him in a VIP suite last night, and he was all like, really? I don't want to be in a hotel. I'm like, what do you mean, bro?
Bro, but I live in a sick-ass apartment, though, right?
Yeah, bro, but you gave me all this attitude when I told you I got you a VIP hotel.
I love you, Mickey. I love you.
We all love you. Showed Travis the room.
Do you know how I met this guy years ago? I got invited to a mansions party.
This is huge news. There's a Christian church out there selling land plots in heaven. The church is selling these plots starting out at $100. And you can pay in installments. And there's already been millions of dollars collected by the church. The church is named the Church of End Times, and its leader claimed that in 2017 he had a meeting with God, and God authorized the sale of plots near God's palace, even offering mortgages on this land, and it guarantees you a spot in heaven regardless of the size plot that you buy. Could this possibly be one of the biggest real estate deals on the planet? I want your thoughts in the comments below. Follow me for more stocks, tech, and investing.
That's crazy. If you die, you still got to pay rent. People like this gives Christian a bad name.
When I travel and I don't want people to steal stuff out of my bag, what I do is this. At the airports, especially in Europe more so, are stations where you go to check your luggage and they will saran wrap the ever-loving hell out of your luggage so that all that's sticking out of it is a little handle to hold it by. And other than that, it's just completely cocooned in like bright neon pink or green saran wrap. That makes it impossible to get into your luggage and totally legal to check your bag that way. Also, TSA is like, this is going to be a nightmare. I don't even want to deal with it. Because also remember, the TSA, they have their little keys to get into these things. They can pop them open, or if you don't have a lock, they can get in. But if your bag is completely saran wrapped, then it's going to take them 15 minutes to open this thing and then seal it back up again. That's a deterrent to them to be like, you know what, is there really something in there I need to look at, or no? Forget it. Let's go to the next bag.
I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing TSA would simply cut off the cellophane and not worry one bit about, wrapping it back up again. It would be interesting to hear from anyone with experience.
We have a new AI video generator that is amazing, and you could use it today. Luma Labs just released Dream Machine. From the examples and videos I've generated, this is the best AI video generator that you could actually use, and it's completely free. Let's generate a video. A man in a spacesuit floating with a galaxy background. Bam. Impressive. It took a while to generate, but was worth the wait. It has an enhanced prompt option that will improve your prompt and output. It also supports image to video. Now let's check out some of the examples they released. You could visit the site here. Right now the queue times can be up to 7 hours, but they're addressing this and it should be back to normal soon. I'll be doing more testing on this generator in the next couple days. Like and follow so you don't miss it.
I tried it. The videos are blurry and movements are unrealistic. I'm still waiting for the other one, LTX. I'm in their waiting list.
What is this?
Don't even think about touching that. That's a Portuguese man of war, and it is very venomous, not poisonous. Now, remember the difference between venomous and poisonous. Easy way for you to remember is that if something bites you and you die, it's venomous. If you bite something and you die, then it's poisonous. And in this case, you can switch out the biting for stinging, because that's what these guys do. They have a very venomous sting. So much so that it can kill fish, and in some rare cases, it can even kill humans. And even a dead one of these guys can still sting you. So, no touchy. Hope that helps.
It looks so much like a stone. I would totally touch it because I didn't know what it was. Alright folks, I'm going to end our video with this coming clip. Be kind to each other. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And don't forget to like or dislike so I can make better content. If you want to buy me coffee or support me through Patreon, the links are in the description below. Thank you for watching. Have a prosperous day and God bless.
Indonesian.
Dutch.
We talk about similarities.
Turning signal on a motorcycle or on a car. 1, 2, 3.
Drifting.
Fridge.
Koelkast. Ember.
Emmer.
Korting.
Korting.
Achteruit.
Achteruit.
Versnellen.
Versnellen.
Balsem.
Balsem.
Gordijn.
Gordijn.
Oh, okay. Wastafel.
Wastafel.
Oh my gosh, that's the same.
Mooi, precies hetzelfde.
Kamer.
Kamer. Ja.
Nee. Parkeer.
Parkeer.
Same. Traktier.
Trakteer. Precies hetzelfde.
Saklar.
Schakelaar.
Ja. Gratis.
Gratis.
Ja. Apotheek.
Apotheek.
Kantoor.
Kantoor.
Same. Te laat.
Te laat.
Same. Oom.
Oom.
Tante.
Tante.
Tante. Handdoek.
Handdoek. Nou, we kunnen ook je andersom doen. Ik eerst.
Nee,
hoeft je niet.
Knaalpot.
Knaalpot.
Say berry. Anything else? Cheese, mate.
Bedankt. Dag.
Top 10 cities with the most Indonesians in the Netherlands. Top 10, Arnhem, 5,200 Indonesians. Top 9, Breda, 5,500 Indonesians. Top 8, Tilburg, 5,900 Indonesians. Top 7, Groningen, 6,400 Indonesians. Top 6, Almere, 7,600 Indonesians. Top 5, Eindhoven, 8,700 Indonesians. Top 4, Utrecht, 10,300 Indonesians. Top 3, Rotterdam, 26,800 Indonesians. Top 2, Amsterdam, 39,200 Indonesians. Top 1, Den Haag, 42,500 Indonesians.